What up, African family, and welcome to another video of African history, culture, and worldview, and welcome back to my series African Myth and Legend 101, where I tell various stories from African myth and legend. Today, we're going to tell the Songhai myth of Pharaoh Maken, the greatest river hunter. And as always, don't forget to support the home team on patreon.com and go to Afrogaphics.com, a website where you can get helpful illustrative infographics on African history. Links to Patreon and Afrographics are in the description box below. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Fano thought he was the greatest of the Sorko River hunters. Every day, he would spare 300 hippopotamuses and send his people out to fetch the meat. But an envious woman once told him that his equal lived up the river, and so Fano made inquiries and learned about Pharaoh Maken, of whom many stories are told. He learned also that Pharaoh Maken had a daughter, Nana Miriam, and so he decided to ask for her hand in marriage. But the emissary he sent to Pharaoh Maken returned with bad news. Pharaoh Maken foretold great misfortune from such a union, and so would not allow it. Fano decided to try himself, without relying on an intermediary, and so he traveled downstream to the territory of Pharaoh Maken. As Fano approached, Pharaoh Maken knew why he had come and prepared a courteous refusal. But Pharaoh Maken's daughter saw Fano and fell in love with him, and she went to her father and begged him to allow her to marry the stranger who was coming. Very hesitantly, Pharaoh Maken agreed, for he really could not refuse his daughter anything. But he knew in his heart that this action would bring misfortune. Still, he laid upon her a strong prohibition that she should not reveal to her husband any of the hunting secrets she might have learned as his daughter. She agreed to this. Then the two were married, with a great feast. Fano and Nana Miriam lived in Pharaoh Maken's town for quite some time. One day, Pharaoh Maken and Fano went fishing together. Pharaoh Maken returned with baskets of fish and loads of hippopotamus meat, but Fano did not catch anything that day. He returned disappointed and ashamed to his home, where Nana Miriam did what she could to console him. This happened again and again. Each time the two of them fished together, and Fano became most depressed. He complained to Nana Miriam, and she let slip at last that Pharaoh Maken's success was due to the hunting magic he possessed, and that without it, Fano would never be able to match her father. After that, Fano began to bother his wife to reveal what she might know of her father's magic to him. She held out as long as she could, caught in this conflict of father and husband, and finally decided that she should teach Fano what she could. So she taught him the river magic her father had taught her, and he learned it well. The next time Pharaoh Maken and Fano went fishing together, Fano was the one to catch all the fish and to spare the hippopotamus. Pharaoh Maken caught nothing, and he knew quite well why this had happened. His daughter had broken her promise and revealed his secret magic for river fishing to her husband. At the end of the day, they turned their boats back to the town and landed at the riverbank. Pharaoh Maken immediately hurried away to Fano's house and broke in as soon as he saw his daughter. He banished her from the land forever, and then he dressed the slave woman in her clothes, telling the woman to impersonate Nana Miriam. Fano returned home and called out his wife's name. The slave woman answered, "Ah, Fano," and he knew at once that it was not his wife. He brought the woman into the light and saw that she was not Nana Miriam, and he guessed what had happened, for Nana Miriam had told him of her promise to her father. The next day, Fano went and called Pharaoh Maken to go out fishing with him on the river. As soon as they were out of sight of the village, they pulled out their weapons and prepared for battle, each standing in the prow of his boat. Each hurled spears. The spears struck the water or the gunwales of the boat, but did not touch the adversary. They shot arrows which bounced harmlessly away. The struggle continued in this way for some time until Fano felt himself weakening and feared that Faramaken would get the better of him. So he turned his boat and sent it down the river so fast that the water grew white at the bows. Faramaken sent his boat after the fleeing Fano equally fast. Fano left his boat and ran ashore. Faramaken leaped from his boat and followed. Fano ran until he was out of sight and then turned himself into a stalk of millet. Faramaken came running after him and then paused when he could see no man running before him. He looked carefully around and then saw the stalk of millet growing. He turned himself into a hen and began to peck at the millet seeds. Fano became a man and ran away. Further on, he became a small watercourse. Faramaken followed him to the watercourse, then turned into an elephant and began drinking up the water. Fano became a man and ran away. Further on, he became a tamarind tree. Faramaken came up and stood in the shade of the tree and called his name, Fano. Hearing his name, Fano became a man. But when he met Faramaken's gaze, he changed into a monkey and ran away. Some people say that Faramaken defeated Fano and returned home. Others say that he died in the pursuit, and others again say that the two of them are still chasing each other along the banks of the Niger. If you like these videos and want to help out in its continued production, you can do so on patreon.com. The link is in the description box below. Know thyself. Remember your ancestors. Peace.